Did you know that autism spectrum disorder, often just called ASD, has been steadily rising for the past few decades? Maybe you've heard the numbers. In 2000, 1 in 150 children were diagnosed. By 2016, that number jumped to 1 in 54. And today, some estimates suggest it's even higher. So, what's really going on? Is autism becoming more common, or are we just getting better at recognizing it? And why does it affect boys far more than girls? Stick around, because today we're diving into the latest research on autism, from genetic factors and environmental influences to the role of gut health and even controversial topics like vaccines. By the end, you'll have a clear, science-backed understanding of what's driving these trends and what might actually help those on the spectrum thrive. Let's start with the big question: why are autism diagnoses rising? One major reason is that our definition of autism has changed. Before 2013, conditions like Asperger's syndrome and pervasive developmental disorder were separate diagnoses. But the DSM-5 redefined them all under ASD. That, plus better awareness and more advanced screening, means more people are being identified correctly. According to a 2025 report by AP News, diagnostic substitution is another factor. Some individuals previously diagnosed with learning disabilities are now getting an ASD label instead. But what about genetics? Research shows that autism has a strong hereditary component. A 2023 study in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences identified over 70 genes directly linked to ASD, with rare mutations in genes like CHD8 and ADNP associated with more severe cases. Scientists also found that epigenetic factors such as DNA modifications in sperm could increase autism risk in offspring. One recent study from Mount Sinai Health System examined over 150,000 people and identified significant genetic markers associated with autism. That said, genes aren't the whole story. Environmental factors also play a role. Exposure to heavy metals like lead and mercury during pregnancy has been linked to higher autism risk, as noted in a 2022 meta-analysis published in Molecular Autism. Researchers have also found a connection between pesticide exposure and ASD. A large-scale California study found that pregnant women living near farms with high pesticide use were more likely to have children diagnosed with ASD. Air pollution is another factor. Studies have shown that exposure to fine particulate matter, or PM2.5, and traffic-related pollutants during pregnancy correlates with an increased likelihood of autism in children. Now let's talk about something surprising: the gut-brain connection. Many children with ASD have chronic gastrointestinal issues, and research suggests their gut microbiome is different from neurotypical individuals. A groundbreaking 2017 study on microbiota transfer therapy showed that restoring gut bacteria led to an 80% improvement in GI symptoms, and even a 20 to 25% improvement in autism-related behaviors. Studies indicate that children with ASD often have lower levels of beneficial bacteria, such as Bifidobacterium and Prevotella, while having increased levels of potentially harmful bacteria like Clostridia. This is why some parents explore dietary changes like gluten-free and casein-free diets. A 2022 meta-analysis found modest improvements in certain ASD symptoms, especially in kids with pre-existing digestive issues. Additionally, omega-3 fatty acids, commonly found in fish oil, have been studied for their potential benefits in managing hyperactivity and attention issues in children with ASD. But what about vaccines? Despite persistent misinformation, the science is crystal clear. Vaccines do not cause autism. A massive 2019 study of over 650,000 children in Denmark found no difference in autism rates between vaccinated and unvaccinated kids. Another meta-analysis of over 1.25 million children found zero link between vaccines and autism. Even among high-risk groups, such as children with older autistic siblings, no connection was found between vaccination and ASD development. So why do more boys get diagnosed than girls? The prevailing theory is the female protective effect. research suggests that girls need a greater number or severity of genetic mutations to show ASD traits, making it less likely for them to be diagnosed. Additionally, girls often mask their symptoms better, a phenomenon known as camouflaging. This means that many girls with ASD go undiagnosed or are misdiagnosed with anxiety or other conditions. A 2025 Wikipedia report on autism epidemiology indicates that the male-to-female diagnosis ratio is roughly 4-to-1, though newer studies suggest that ASD in females is more common than previously thought, just harder to detect. Now let's shift to solutions. Traditional therapies like applied behavior analysis, also known as ABA, speech therapy, and occupational therapy, remain the gold standard for ASD treatment. But functional medicine is gaining traction too. Vitamin D supplementation, for instance, has shown promise. One 2018 study found that high-dose vitamin D improved core autism symptoms. Similarly, mitochondrial support with CoQ10 and L-carnitine has been studied for children with ASD, with some trials reporting gains in social and cognitive awareness. Nutritional deficiencies play a role as well. Research has found that children with ASD are more likely to have low levels of essential vitamins and minerals, including zinc, magnesium, and vitamin B12. Some parents have reported improvements in mood, focus, and sleep patterns after addressing these deficiencies. One clinical trial found that children with ASD who received high-dose folinic acid showed significant improvements in verbal communication compared to those who did not. There's also growing interest in immune-modulating therapies. Some children with autism spectrum disorder have elevated levels of inflammatory markers, suggesting a possible link between neuroinflammation and autism symptoms. Small studies have tested anti-inflammatory interventions such as omega-3 supplementation and IV immunoglobulin therapy, though more research is needed to confirm their efficacy. So, what have we learned? Autism isn't just on the rise due to unknown factors. Better diagnostics, genetics, and environmental influences all play a role. Boys are diagnosed more often due to biological and behavioral factors. Vaccines, not a cause. But gut health, environmental toxins, and targeted nutritional interventions may influence symptoms. If you found this deep dive helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. What are your thoughts on the latest autism research? Drop a comment below, and let's start a conversation. And if you're looking for more resources, check the links in the description for recommended books and scientific studies.